violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
To begin tonight with breaking news, this is the scene along Stone Mountain Highway in Gwinnett County. We're told that officers found one woman dead inside a vehicle.
Like I've told you guys before, women, children, they're not safe. There is no discrimination when it comes to who can be on the receiving end of these super gremlins on demon time.
Crashed into a nearby construction site and that her body had several gunshot wounds. And right now, Gwinnett County police are searching for a suspect, but have not given a description just yet.
Other stories we're tracking for you tonight. There are new details tied to the fatal shooting of a woman at a Gwinnett County construction site. We broke this story for you last night at 11 o'clock. Gwinnett County police say the body of Brianna Rogers was found around 7 p.m. Friday inside a crashed vehicle along Stone Mountain Highway with multiple gunshot wounds. They also shared these pictures of the suspect, now identified.
So there you have it. Indicators of demon time, face tattoo. He killed this woman for reasons we don't know yet, but I'm sure we'll figure out. I'm going to stay on top of it. And there are more details to come for sure. But I'm just trying to show you guys the mindset and why it's so dangerous that the leftists are pushing the criminal justice agendas that they are, because these guys are out here and they're taking out women, and you know, they say, oh, we're supposed to protect women and all this kind of stuff, but these guys right here, they're getting chance after chance after chance. Obviously, this is most likely not his first case that he caught. And, you know, if he didn't commit first-degree murder, it probably wouldn't have been his last.
There's Edward Smith. He currently is on the run, and he is wanted tonight for felony murder and
honestly, it may not be his last because he might get off. Who knows?
Aggravated assault in connection with Rogers' death. If you know where he is, you're asked to reach out to Gwinnett Police or Atlanta Crime Stoppers.
Thanks, Brad. New this hour, the family of a woman found murdered at a construction site says they don't know the man charged with killing her. Channel 2's Elizabeth Rawlings is live along Stone Mountain Parkway near Glen Club Drive in Gwinnett County. Elizabeth, as you might imagine, the family is devastated.
Absolutely devastated and heartbroken. They can't imagine why anyone would shoot and kill their daughter here at a construction site. Edward Smith is now in the Gwinnett County Jail. Investigators say he turned himself in Monday night after being on the run for 3 days. He's facing aggravated assault and malice murder charges in the shooting death of Brianna Rogers. I spoke to her family, who lives in Indiana, via Zoom.
I think my husband and I actually got some sleep last night. You know, the biggest fear was he was going to hurt somebody else. Right.
Investigators.
Wow. And they're, I mean, obviously they're not okay with it, but they're taking it pretty well. That's a little concerning. There's no outrage about this type of thing here.
Murder charges in the shooting death of Brianna Rogers. I spoke to her family, who lives in Indiana, via Zoom.
I think my husband and I actually got some sleep last night. You know, the biggest fear was he was going to hurt somebody else. Right.
Investigators were called out to a construction site on Stone Mountain Highway near Glen Club Drive Friday night.
It's a really tough thing.
Okay, there you go. But I mean, what a horrible situation. Your daughter taken out by a man that you guys don't even know. Maybe she didn't know it, or maybe she didn't know him. Maybe she did. Who knows? But obviously not keeping the best of company. And unfortunately, this is what's going down in the Metro Atlanta area.
As a parent to go through this.
When they arrived, they found Breonna Rogers, who had been shot multiple times. She was lying on the ground next to an abandoned car that had been wrecked.
Did y'all meet him? Did y'all know him? What was her relationship with him? Did you know?
Honestly, we don't know.
We'll find out more.
We're hoping to find out more ourselves because we really don't know.
Family members say Rogers was a daughter, a mother, a sister, and an aunt, and they can't imagine why anyone would do something like this.
I want everybody to remember that beautiful smile of hers.
And we're back out here live where family and friends have started a GoFundMe account for Breonna Rogers. We have more information on our website, WSBTV.com. We're live in Gwinnett County. Elizabeth Rollins, Channel 2 Action News.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Let's get straight to that breaking news out of Gwinnett County for you. Someone shot and killed a female off a busy road with several businesses nearby. That's what police are telling us. It happened in the driveway of a construction site right off Stone Mountain Highway, known as 78 in Gwinnett County. Channel 2's Veronica Griffin live on the scene for us right now. Veronica, what do you know?
When officers arrived, they found the body of that female on the ground behind me here next to a car. You can see that car is actually being towed away at this time. Here in the 5100 block of Stone Mountain Highway is where Gwinnett County police officers found the body of a female Friday evening with multiple gunshot wounds. It's unclear how she got here, her body on the ground next to an abandoned car. Detectives tell Channel 2 News it's also unclear who this vehicle belongs to and how it ended up here off the road and on a fence near a construction site. The victim's name or age has not been released at this time.
There are persons of interest, but again, the investigation is still actively ongoing, so we don't have that information to provide at this time.
The vehicle is currently being towed away. At this time, detectives are also still waiting on the medical examiner to pick up and identify the victim. Reporting live in Stone Mountain, Veronica Griffin, WSB Tonight.
A live scene on this Friday night. Veronica, thank you so much for that live report. Meanwhile, we're going to keep you ahead of this breaking news and any new information we get overnight on WSBTV.com. Also, any updates on Channel 2 Action News Saturday AM starting at 5. Developing now at 5, the search for a man police say killed a woman and then dumped her body near a construction site. Channel 2's Elizabeth Rollins is live now on Stone Mountain Parkway, right near Glen Club Drive, with what we know about the victim. Elizabeth?
Yeah, investigators found her body here at this construction site late Friday afternoon. It's unclear why they were in the area because investigators say they both were from Henry County. Gwinnett County police are looking for this man, Edward Smith. He's wanted in the shooting death of Breonna Rogers. Investigators discovered her body at a construction site on Stone Mountain Highway near Glen Club Drive. She had been shot multiple times.
We believe there was some sort of a domestic dispute between the two, which led to an altercation, which then led to the shooting.
Investigators say Rogers...
A domestic dispute that led to a shooting. How many times have we heard this before? There's no reason why it should escalate to this point. The man needs to turn himself in. I'm glad they've identified the shooter, but it just seems like this type of stuff is heating up. It's not going nowhere anytime soon.
Was found lying next to an abandoned car that had been wrecked.
I think that the vehicle, there was a crash, and so the vehicle maybe had become inoperable at that point. And that's how we were able to link the suspect to this incident, was by the vehicle registration.
Witnesses say Smith was last seen running through the construction site. Investigators say the circumstances surrounding the deadly shooting are unclear, including why they were in the Stone Mountain area, since according to investigators, they were both from Henry County.
Yeah, the victim is also tied to Henry County out of, I believe, McDonough. So we do think that's a possibility, but at this point, we're open to any possible locations.
And we're back out here live where investigators say they believe that suspect is armed and dangerous. If you have any information, please contact Gwinnett County Police. We're live from Stone Mountain. Elizabeth Rollins, Channel 2 Action.
This hour, the family of a woman found murdered at a construction site says they don't know the man charged with killing her. Channel 2's Elizabeth Rollins is live along Stone Mountain Parkway near Glen Club Drive in Gwinnett County. Elizabeth, as you might imagine, the family is devastated.
Absolutely devastated and heartbroken. They can't imagine why anyone would shoot and kill their daughter here at a construction site. Edward Smith is now in the Gwinnett County Jail. Investigators say he turned himself in Monday night after being on the run for 3 days. He's facing aggravated assault and malice murder charges in the shooting death.
Well, at least they got him. Aggravated assault, malice murder. It looks like they had the same haircut. So I don't know if he inspired her haircut or she inspired his haircut. But I mean, I would say they probably know each other just by virtue of their haircuts matching.
Brianna Rogers. I spoke to her family who lives in Indiana via Zoom.
I think my husband and I actually got some sleep last night. The biggest fear was he was going to hurt somebody else.
Right. Investigators were called out to a construction site on Stone Mountain Highway near Glen Club Drive Friday night.
It's a really tough thing as a parent to go through this.
When they arrived, they found Brianna Rogers, who had been shot multiple times. She was lying on the ground next to an abandoned car that had been wrecked.
Did y'all meet him? Did y'all know him? What was her relationship with him? Did you know?
Honestly, we don't know.
We'll find out more.
We're hoping to find out more ourselves because we really don't know.
Family members say Rogers was a daughter, a mother, a sister, and an aunt, and they can't imagine why anyone would do something like this.
I want everybody to remember that beautiful smile of hers.
And we're back out here live where family and friends have started a GoFundMe account for Brianna Rogers. We have more information on our website, WSBTV.com. We're live in Gwinnett County. Elizabeth Rollins, Channel 2 Action News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot dead by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video. All right, guys. So we have a very sad story to cover here today, where we actually have a 17-year-old girl who was brutally murdered in Blacksburg, Virginia, by her ex-boyfriend. And the young lady's name, her name is Serenity Hawley. And the man that killed her, he was an ex-boyfriend of hers. Obviously, they're very young. And his name is, let's see, Croney Monk. Okay. And he deleted her and then deleted himself. And I wanted to cover this story because it's pretty much going viral on Twitter. The mother has spoken on Twitter and her tweet is going viral. I'm actually surprised that she didn't delete her Twitter already because the white guys on Twitter, they're laying into her pretty thick. I would say they're going too overboard. Once you get a couple comments going in there saying, hey, maybe you should have vetted the guy, whatever. I mean, but that's not what they're saying. But I actually want to cover the story first. Then we're going to get into the reaction of the people. And we're going to listen to both sides, Black Twitter, white Twitter, or, pro-Black Twitter, as they like to call it, Hotep Twitter, or white supremacist Twitter. And we're going to break it down from both sides. This is going to be extremely interesting. It's going to be extremely interesting because we're going to be covering, the interracial relationship aspect of things, the domestic violence rate aspect of things. And we're going to bring it full circle. And I want this to be an open discussion. People putting in their comments, people giving their 2 cents, people, saying what they really feel. saying what they believe. And, you know, we're not going to block anybody for saying anything unless it's like some crazy shit, right? But we are going to have an open discussion, and we're going to cover this story and get as much information as possible. And, you know, I want to do that for you guys because these stories are really important, and not many other channels, if any, are actually covering it. So let's see. Let's see where we want to start off with. I want to start off with a news story that isn't really giving up everything. So let's see what I can pull up really quickly. But we do have the parents who spoke, and unfortunately, you know, it really is a sad thing, because I'm sure they invited this man into their home. I'm sure they showed him all the love that they could. And I'm sure they were fair with him up until maybe their daughter was being highly affected. But it looks like she ended up breaking up with him, and he lashed out, couldn't take it. And this just speaks to the crash out culture. What have I been talking about? Crash out culture. When these super gremlins cannot have their way, a lot of times they do resort to crashing out. Now, what is crashing out? Essentially, crashing out means making a terrible decision to ruin your life. And, you know, we play around here about the crash out culture and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we even debate over what we would crash out over, what we would crash out for. But in this case, this is definitely not a situation to crash out for. See, a sane person, people over here, people like who support Jen Quavius, we would crash out over somebody harming our family, right? We would crash out over a home invasion. Maybe somebody invades our home, we're going to crash out, right? But in these cases, when it comes to the community, you have these super gremlins on demon time who are crashing out, maybe because they were denied something, their lover said no, all these different scenarios. But we're going to get started and get into these news stories and really talk about crash out culture, how, you know, interracial relationships and interracial dating. And I'm going to bring up the data. We're going to get into it very deep on this one, so buckle up.
Blacksburg still reeling tonight after two teenagers were found dead in a parking garage Tuesday afternoon. The day police found the high schoolers, Serenity Hawley, whose family says she was killed by her ex-boyfriend before he turned the gun on himself, was supposed to be at work. Law enforcement have not confirmed the deaths as a murder-suicide. Your Pizza Co. owner tells WDBJ.
So here's a young lady, very cute, 17 years old, about to begin her life. There are prom pictures and all that kind of stuff. Very beautiful young lady. Looks like it had everything going for herself, but made a bad decision in who she decided to couple up with. And I don't blame her for that, right? Because she's super young, 17 years old. She can't really know what she wants. She can't really know what is good for her. All she is going off of is how this individual makes her feel, how this individual made her feel. And in the moment, I don't know, you know, how they met, probably high school or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to meet nowadays for young people, but I'd be very interested to see, like, what was it that really attracted her to him? Maybe did he have clout on campus, on the high school campus, whatever. I don't really know. And we'll try and figure out more about this guy. But obviously this relationship ended up being a toxic relationship. and ended up in her life being lost. So, you know, condolences to the family for sure. We're going to hear from them shortly. But you know, I definitely think that these situations need to be highlighted because, quite frankly, these are the types of niggas who are fucking it up for everybody. But let's keep going.
7. Her shift at the shop began at 5 p.m. on Tuesday. They noticed she was 30 minutes late, and that was unlike Serenity. They knew something was wrong. That's when her supervisor tried contacting her and called all the nearby hospitals. Later that night, they were told by a detective that she had been found dead in a parking garage just steps away.
Damn.
It was just across the street, and you know, we had no idea that she was there, and you know, and what was going to happen or happening. You just kind of felt helpless, thinking, wow, if I just scheduled her sooner, maybe. You know.
And you know, that wouldn't have worked either, because the thing is, this super gremlin knew her schedule. He knew she worked at Your Pie. He was probably camping out, waiting for her. And he had his mind made up. See, when you have a super gremlin with a full head of steam and a made up mind, there's pretty much nothing that you can do other than police intervention and potentially lethal force to prevent this crash out. And this is what people really don't understand about the dynamics between, you know, a lot of these super gremlins and police officers. A lot of times there is no stopping them. You know, there was a story that went viral recently of a guy who he was you know, exonerated of a crime that he did some time in prison for. And then like 2 weeks later, he was killed by the police or something like that. And people were going crazy, and all, you know, Black Lives Matter activists and all this kind of stuff, they're going crazy online. And then the dash cam footage drops and this guy was fighting with the police. So that was a guy who, and I think maybe he got pulled over for either speeding or I think his registration was late. So he was going to either get the car towed or go to jail. Sometimes you can, you know, talk the police out of arresting you and they'll just tow the car. But if he's not riding with registration, most likely he didn't have insurance as well. So with that, they will take you to jail. And you had a super gremlin with his mind made up. What was his mind made up on? I ain't going back to jail. Can't nobody take me back to jail. If they take me back to jail, I'd rather just die. So he crashed out, fought with the police. It was a brutal fight. It ended in him losing his life. Maybe he had some shit in the car too. Who knows? But he was willing to crash out for it. So that's what I mean when you have a super gremlin with a head full of steam and his mind made up to crash out about something.
Anything so we could still have her.
The owner describes her as a great example of what an employee should be. They say she will always be a part of the Your Pie pizza family, and Serenity was like a daughter to her.
All right, so very touching story there. Let's get into some more details of this gruesome murder self-deletion.
Of one of the teens found dead in a vehicle has identified her as 17-year-old Serenity Hawley.
WDBJ7's Patsy Montesinos has been following this story all day long. She joins us live now from Blacksburg. Patsy, we know there are a lot of unanswered questions. You spoke with...
So here's the family, all right? Mom and dad, this news announcer in the middle, she's actually pretty attractive, so she cool. But you have the mother and the father, and they're gonna give their 2 cents on it. Let's figure out what they say. Let's see what, you know, they're able to come up with. But everybody understands the elephant in the room, and obviously they can't say the elephant in the room. But the elephant in the room is that her ex-boyfriend who crashed out was black, right? And obviously white supremacist Twitter, and I don't mean this as in I'm accusing these Twitter accounts to actually be white supremacists, but it's how they're identified by Hotep Twitter or Black Twitter. So I think it's just the easiest nickname to go with. White supremacist Twitter I'm not gonna lie, they are rubbing it in pretty heavy on her Twitter account, and she hasn't limited the comments. She has I wouldn't be surprised if she's reading every single comment, but they're definitely putting the toll pays. They're doing all the stuff, and they're getting at her. So, you know, we understand the elephant in the room. Now let's see how they respond. And then I also want to pull up some data after we break down some more of this video. So let's keep going.
The mom, what is she saying happened to her daughter?
Shout out to my guy Nathan. He sends a $20 cash app. He says, "Salute my guy."
Oh, say that.
Appreciate that, Nathan. You know, that is definitely greatly appreciated. I mean, $20, hell, that's a lot of damn money, especially in today's day and age with inflation. So, you know, I really appreciate that $20. That's a hefty donation on this channel. So shout out to Nathan for that.
Melissa, Jean. Well, I'm actually here with Serenity's mother and father, known as Heather and John. First and foremost, we're so sorry for your loss, and thank you so much for joining us live. I'll start with you, Heather. Can you tell me, how are you feeling today?
And let's just keep it a buck. Most parents are not speaking up. They're not speaking out about these things. Very strong parents. You know, the mother, she's probably going to say something emotional. I want to know what the dad's genuine thoughts are. Obviously, I'm not going to assume that he's going to say his genuine thoughts. But the elephant, like I said, in the room is looming, and it's a discussion that needs to be had. It really does. As uncomfortable as it may be for each party, it is a conversation that needs to be had to work to a solution. And if there isn't a solution, then we need to work to a resolution. But let's keep going.
Just overwhelmed. I feel like I'm in a nightmare I can't wake up from. My baby's gone, and it's unbelievable.
Today's her 18th birthday, and you told me earlier you were supposed to be celebrating, but instead you were picking out her outfit for her funeral. Can you tell us about how that was like?
And that's insane, man. The dude took her out right before her 18th birthday, and he knew that shit too. I would actually love to see their text messages between one another. That would give you a lot of insight on their relationship, how it was, and maybe the temperament of this guy. Obviously not the best temperament, to say the least. Let's keep going. I mean, how do you think that because you lose one girl that your life is over? I know it can feel like that in high school. And this is, you know, it speaks to the desperation of a lot of young men, but even young Black men at that. So let's keep going.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I went into her room and we picked out her dress and her shoes and jewelry, and she had her pair of black Converse there that was her. Right, she wouldn't let us buy her new shoes because she loved those black Converse, and you know, instead she should have been wearing those to the Virginia Tech women's game tonight. That was her birthday present. That's where she was supposed to go. She loved them, and she you know, was just recently accepted into there, and so she was that was her dream. And
so she was about to go to Virginia Tech, man, and this super gremlin completely snuffed her out. Where are his parents? What are his parents saying? I would love to hear from them as well. I'd be interested to see if they knew each other, the parents of Serenity, and then the parents of the killer, Croney Monk. But so many questions, so many things that are going to be left unanswered, not only from me, but for the family, most importantly. So, you know, I do want to lend my sensitivity and condolences if they end up seeing this video. And this video is not to poke fun or anything like that. It is to have the uncomfortable conversation, and that's what we're about to do right now.
You know, now we can't celebrate that. So very hard.
So many dreams to be accomplished, such a long life still yet to be lived. How do you want people to remember her?
I'm not gonna lie though, this anchor, she's I'll say she's top 10 baddest that I've seen covering news, and I've been covering news for the last 3 years. She's definitely top 10.
She was our sassy, sweet girl. She was so intelligent. And I want them to remember her being happy, not this situation, but being happy and sweet and just full of life.
My last question is, so many people are here, so many people are showing support to you both and your whole family. What do you have to say to the community?
I just want to thank all the communities involved. You know, not only do we have the community here in Blacksburg that has been unbelievable. I mean, we're here at Your Pile where she worked. I mean, so many people have come by, shared stories, hugs, just thoughts, prayers, everything. Their Tampa community, we live in Tampa. There's such an outpouring of support there. Serenity was only there for a year, and the people that she touched is unbelievable to me, and the people that care. And then, you know, our families who are extended all throughout the state of Virginia, that's coming in, that's reaching out. It's just, when you have a tragedy like this, you don't realize how many people are there to help you through it. And, you know, what we want Serenity to be remembered for is, you know, this is domestic abuse. This is a domestic violence. It's a real problem. And we're going to dedicate, you know, our lives to moving that agenda forward.
So obviously, you know, they're classifying it as domestic abuse, but it also falls under another tick. Unfortunately, it is interracial domestic abuse. And that's what we're really going to be talking about on this channel. And we're also going to cover what went on in the Twitter thread, because it is important. And I know a lot of people would, you know, I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, you shouldn't be covering. You should. Look, man, we have to have the uncomfortable conversations. And, you know, like I said, this falls into many categories. This homicide falls into many categories. It falls into the category of a murder-suicide. It falls into the category of a fatal domestic violence situation. It falls into the category of an interracial domestic violence situation. It falls into the category of a fatal interracial domestic violence situation. So all these points are important. And, you know, understanding the risk and the dangers of, you know, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it or people shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying you have to understand the risks that are incorporated when you are interracially dating, when you're dating anybody, but specifically when the culture differences are, you know, drastically different. Like I said, I don't know what type of family this guy came from, but if the culture of that family differs significantly from yours, then it is going to be a problem. It always is going to be a problem. And there's no issue with speaking up about this.
Helping young women, young men, you know, realize what relationships are supposed to be, and not this pop culture disaster that it currently is.
Well, thank you both so much for joining me. And as you know, this is an ongoing investigation. Police haven't released a lot of information. There are still a lot of unanswered questions, but our hearts and prayers are with Serenity's family.
Yeah,
Melissa, Jean.
Patsy, I think a powerful interview we've witnessed right here on live television today. I don't think any of us expected to hear from both parents on live television, but how courageous, what courage and bravery this shows for the parents to come out on her birthday. And
you can tell, like, the mother is very nervous, very emotional. Her tick is like biting her lip, which I also do that as well. So I kind of recognize it immediately when I see it. So, you know, very sad, very sad.
To just call out the darkness of domestic violence, I think is very brave. So please pass our condolences on.
Yeah, definitely. So our hearts are breaking for that family. Thank you, Patsy.
Wow. So very emotional there, the family. And we're going to get into the location where this was at, you know, all this stuff, man. You know, we want to break it down and really see how this was able to develop and was able to happen and able to occur. So let's keep going.
Has been following the story for us tonight. Amir, the family held a vigil this evening for their daughter, and those scenes just heartbreaking.
Actually, I do want to address a comment from Facebook from James Dickerson. Obviously, he's like many people would say, oh, don't do the video. I'm going to do the video. You guys aren't going to tell me what to do. But anyways, he says, hey, man, I don't think this is a video, or I don't think is a video is something. Oh, God. So this nigga is illiterate as fuck. He doesn't want me to make the video, essentially, in his first sentence. I knew both of the people, and they were beautiful individuals. Croney had an unaddressed mental health issue that overcame him. He was a loving and caring person who would make everyone laugh. You have to remember that at the end of the day. He's dead too, and it's just a tragedy of two dead people. And here's the thing. I don't feel sorry for him because he killed her and he killed himself. The unaddressed mental health issue, bruh. I keep telling you guys, you can't give these people the mental health excuse. These super gremlins are on demon time. And as long as we enable the mental health excuse, the actions, these types of actions are going to continue to happen. Now, if you're going through something internally, you need to seek help, right? But that doesn't mean you go harm somebody else. If anything, he could have did everyone a favor and took himself out, right? But he didn't choose to do that. He chose to kill someone else who he was no longer connected with, right? She was an ex-girlfriend. So I'm not giving him that excuse, right? I feel sorry for the Hawley family or Hawley family. I do not feel sorry for Mr. Croney Monk. Maybe for his family members, maybe for his mother, but not for him.
Chloe, what was supposed to be Serenity Hawley's 18th birthday turned into the day that her parents would choose her outfit for her funeral.
We all expected this to be such a day of joy, not of being at the funeral home and being at our church and planning how the service is going to go. It's unreal.
Serenity's mother, Heather, says she received a phone call Tuesday night that her daughter was missing. Soon after that, she received the news from a detective that her daughter was found dead.
It's so surreal. Like, it's a nightmare that you can't wake up from.
Police say Serenity was found dead in a car along with another teen in a parking garage with a weapon next to them. Her mother says Serenity was shot in the chest by the boy who was in the car with her.
Everything's such a blur at this point, but to hear that your child in that manner is deceased, you just
shot in the chest too. Very sad.
Can't even fathom. Like it was, like I said, it was almost like an out-of-body experience that I was looking down on.
Serenity's mother described her as someone who lit up everyone's world, someone who was full of life.
That she's full of life, but that child trusted. She was so trusting that she would have never have thought that this would have happened. I can't describe how larger than life that she was.
Her mother believes this situation to be a domestic violence incident and says she never thought this would happen.
And the biggest thing is to watch those signs. Don't think that this is just something you see on TV. This is something that...
Yeah, and I mean, it would be very interesting to see what those signs that maybe she picked up on could have been, okay? You know, what were those signs? Was he a thug max alpha simp like I speak about? Or you know, was he a potential Malcolm? Which I highly doubt. It seems like he was probably leaning more toward the thug max alpha simp side of things, right? Because everybody's saying, oh, he was so nice, he was a good kid. It doesn't look like he was a good kid, man. I mean, you go and kill somebody you love for no reason and hurt their family in the way that you do. It's not what good people do, buddy.
In real life can happen to your child in the blink of an eye. And you just don't realize that they are in the position that they're in. They don't realize it. You know, she never thought that this would happen. We never thought.
Serenity's father says her plan for her birthday was to go to Charlotte with her sister to watch the Virginia Tech women's basketball game.
She was so excited about that. She had sent me a text. Her sister was driving down. Her sister goes to Ohio State. So she was driving down to pick her up, and they were going to Charlotte. They had floor tickets. They were so excited. That's how she was going to spend her birthday.
Serenity leaves behind siblings, several friends, and family members that will miss her dearly.
She was our angel here on earth. I mean, she's left behind 4 siblings who thought the world of her and fought with her. But, you know, she's going to be missed. She'll be missed every day.
And the family is still in the planning process for her funeral, but we'll keep you updated on those details.
Just heartbreaking. Amir Massenberg in studio. Thank you. The Blue Ridge Parkway is temporarily banning backcountry campfires to ensure.
The fuck? All right. Anyways, we're going to get into Black Twitter or Hotep Twitter, white Twitter or white supremacist Twitter, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get into their response first. So the mother did tweet, which, I mean, she's got, I don't know if she was ready for the onslaught, but her comments are still enabled, which also surprised me even more. 2.8 million views on this. And she tweeted, "My beautiful 17-year-old was murdered today in Blacksburg, Virginia by her ex-boyfriend. Please pray for me and my family." So she also adds she was headed to the Virginia Tech Iowa game for her birthday Thursday. She loved the basketball teams. She just got accepted to Virginia Tech. She was going to make her Hokie dad proud. I miss my angel so much. God, please let Virginia Tech play for her and show us hope in this earth or on this earth. And a lot of the white guys, they did not like this response. Okay, they really didn't. They didn't like the response because she, I guess, asked God for the lady. What is it? Virginia Tech. What is their mascot again? I don't know. But she asked for a win, right? So I actually want to get into this one first. The replies. So she loved the basketball teams. LMAO. So obviously we understand the innuendos there. Sending prayers your way. Should have told her about the dangers of basketball. Americans, okay? And obviously they're referring to African Americans. You know, when you have to go through and go in, and here's the thing, I'm a very objective person. We read the comments, and I want my fingers on the pulse because I know what people are thinking. All right. I know what people are thinking about all of this, right? So why did you let her date a feral? What did you expect? Okay, so these are the comments, and these are not my views. Like I said, I'm just showing you how deep the white Twitter is laying in on her, and I honestly think they could have chilled on this one. I do. I don't think that these comments are necessarily appropriate, but I do think it's a representation of how people feel, especially white men, right? And this guy goes straight up. He says, "Why would you let your daughter date a black man? This could have easily been prevented." So could it have been prevented if she would have dated somebody of her own race? I mean, potentially, but then also she could have got X'd out by her own race because domestic violence, it knows no bounds, knows no skin colors, but the data is out there and we are going to break it down. We all know that domestic violence rates are higher between, black relationships, period. The domestic violence rates and just the violence rates in general in the black community is higher than any other community. So, we have to take that into account. But this guy's saying, hey, if she would have dated a white guy, she'd be alive today. I don't necessarily disagree. But that is not to say that domestic violence doesn't happen in, intra-racial relationships as well. If you had a better father and discouraged her from interracial relationships, as you guys can see, they are honing on this. This is white Twitter. She would probably still be alive. It's your fault. I pray that God forgives you and that you will be able to forgive yourself for your negligence. Wow. So they are really laying into her. And this is This is this is the mother. They're replying to the mother's tweets. So I really want to show you guys how people feel about this. Sorry, sending you biggest strength. Honestly hope you don't see this comment because this app is brutal, but I'm praying for your family. Can't imagine your pain. So this is the comment that I would, appreciate. And then obviously you have these comics depicting a Juice Crew man who is walking a black man, and he pretty much looks like he has rabies. And then you have the white woman. I don't know what the hell she's doing, but he says, "Don't worry, miss. He's really harmless." So as you guys can see, it's almost referring to black men as dogs. So I just want to show you guys the sentiment on Twitter, and this doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't, oh man, these motherfuckers. No, all right. I'm a very objective person. We're looking at this situation for what it is, and then we're going to look at the data and the backstory as well. This is how people feel about interracial relationships, especially when they go south, okay? So he says, pray for your loss. White people dying. Only our race cares about us. But on a serious note, did you not look at the race crime statistics to know this could happen so you can prevent it? Letting her date a black guy is dangerous, like letting her swim with the crocodiles, sadly. Wow. So that was a very, I mean, people would say it's offensive and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I do think it is offensive, especially to comment to the grieving mother, of course. But like I said, this is how people feel. And, even the white guys are going to say, oh, well, we don't really feel like that. It's obvious that y'all do feel like that. And obviously not every white person feels like that. But I think they're pretty honest on Twitter. I genuinely do. Now, a lot of these guys may not be from the States as well. Some of these guys are in different European countries and whatnot. But this is a real topic. This is a real discussion. And I do want to break it down. And then I will open up the panel to bring in different perspectives. Guys, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. This is going to be a long one. We are going to talk about this, and it is going to get uncomfortable for black people and white people. Okay. And I'll even read some of y'all comments in here as well, even if you don't donate, if I think it's good enough. Somebody says, sorry for your loss, but God let Virginia Tech play for her and show us hope. Your prayer to God after your daughter was murdered is for a basketball team to win. The fuck? So that's his perspective of it. But what y'all have to understand is college sports, especially when you attended that college, it's life-changing, man. So many memories, so many experiences. That's why she loved the games, because her father loved the games. And, they were a family who supported the Virginia Tech Hokies. That's who they are, the Hokies. When you have something like that, yes, that brings you together. That brings you peace in a way to, you can put everything aside and just watch your favorite sports team. Sports brings people together. So I don't think it's fair for him to just hone on, oh, you're praying for a basketball team. Well, that basketball team meant a lot to that young lady. So of course the mother is, gonna hope for the team to win. Could she have left that part out? Potentially, maybe. But it was to show her how much her daughter loved the team. So anyways, if you were a good father, you would have educated her and protected her from violent blacks. But you didn't, and you aren't, and now you have to live with it. So this one is actually, even though it sounds crucial, even though it sounds harsh, I think this one is way more fair than the other ones, because he identifies violent blacks. Now, if somebody doesn't have a violent history, then you can't really say, okay, are they violent or not? But violent people in general, but specifically in this case, yes. So the comment, in my opinion, is pretty fair. Let's keep going. You let your teen daughter to date a gang-banging, drug-dealing lunatic. I hate saying this, but you should have protected her. You didn't. I'm sorry for your loss. So was he gangbanging? That is what we will have to figure out. Did he have a history? That is what we will have to figure out. What was this guy on? I mean, what was he doing on social media? It looks like he was a football player, like I said. The clout could have also, you know, brought her closer to him. Obviously, the CT excuse can be made. And we do have his Facebook account. So we are going to look at him. We're going to take a look. We're going to get a deep look into his situation. He is from New Haven, Connecticut, but lives in Blacksburg, Virginia. So we're going to go to his Facebook. Why did you let your white daughter date a feral monkey? Wow. So, you know, that one's pretty deep. I mean, these guys are not playing, like I said. This is white supremacist Twitter, so guys, don't get triggered, don't get sensitive. They're going to do what they got to do. Undead Chronic, actually a fellow YouTuber, shout out to Undead Chronic. He says, you let her date a thug. This is your fault. Unfortunately, the trends and stats were not in her favor. Single Moms Posting L, a very popular Twitter account that is quote unquote suspected white supremacist. You know, I mean, I think these guys, you know, they're fed up with the violence against white people, and they're lashing out on Twitter. They're able to speak their minds, and you know, you can't really take everything on Twitter seriously. But I do think that this is their authentic thought process. Now, will they say this in a public setting? Most likely, no. Many people will not. Let's see. Somebody says, why are people here of they don't want to hear what you have to say, haters? Huh? Interesting. Tar Baby Yoda says, Gen Z, if you found a black chick was fucking a retard white janitor in the apartment complex, you would think bad of her. Yeah, I would. Tar Baby Yoda also says, any white girl that would want Kodak Black to smash wouldn't mind smashing an orangutan either. So, I mean, here's the thing. From looking at his Facebook, it looks like, oh man, there's a lot going on with him. He was very weird guy, in my opinion. But we'll get into it. Because, I mean, I can't really say that he's gangbanging because I don't see him throwing up no gang signs. I don't see him really doing any of that. But he does have weird... Okay, I see what's going on. Now I'm seeing everything that's going on. So he was a young guy who was involved in some things that he shouldn't have been involved in. We're going to get into it. I'm sorry, guys, but I just had to look at his Facebook just to make sure that I could post it, and we are going to post it. They're saying there's a picture with a pacifier in his mouth. Yeah, that's a mouthpiece from football. So let's keep going. John, there are no words. She looks so much like you that my mind automatically goes back to our orientation later days. Hold it. Okay, so this is somebody they know. This is so hard. I see her everywhere. I was excited for her to get accepted to VT. She could have been an orientation leader like us, LOL. She knew that campus in town like the back of her hand. She was such a caring, loving kid. This is the worst. Yeah, man, I mean, I really feel bad for the family. He said the comments there put in the KKK pictures, and you know, I'm gonna let them cook today. When they have an evident grievance, let them cook, because we're gonna let black Twitter cook, let white Twitter cook, let white supremacists cook, let the Hotep Twitter cook. Let them cook. All right, let them say what they gotta say. Let them get it off their chest, and then we can have the discussion. I think that's the most important thing. Let's see. All right, keep going. The worst thing is that most of them are Christians, like bruh. Yep, he's right. So, oh, they're talking about the family. So people noticing how often blacks beat and kill their white girlfriends is a KKK meeting now. Got it. So they're saying based comments. All right. Guess FBI is KKK because their crime stats back up what's being said here. Maybe y'all should do better. And I do have the FBI crime stats. We will talk about them. Are they wrong? And then they're bringing up these statistics. I can't confirm nor deny where these actual statistics. Okay, they're saying they're from the Bureau of Justice, and these are and this is from 2018. Allegedly, we'll have to back this up and look up these actual data tables. And obviously, they've added some graphics to this, but it's comparing white on black crimes to black on white crimes, and these are specifically crimes and then violent crime incidents. And as you guys can see, it's comparing and contrasting between different relationships with this bar graph. I don't know if this data set is accurate, but we will get into the accurate data for sure. So obviously Twitter wars going on. Obviously Twitter wars going on about this one. And, you know, I just wonder why she hasn't limited her comments yet. I mean, she has to be reading all these. So this one says the high price of letting your daughter date a black. Let's get into this one. Person who probably dates a cop. Somebody said, I wish. They say you have zero empathy. Edgy, and yet if you were to be gunned down, no one would care. I don't hang around black people, so that would never happen in the first place. I see you've solved the problem by never leaving your basement or dating anyone. Good job. Thanks. I love my black free life. And that's what they're saying. And then she posts a picture of an AI, obviously exaggerating facial features. You're so weird. I genuinely hope you're next. Okay, so I make more money than your entire lineage. I could buy out everything you own and turn you into my slave. So as you guys can see, people are going back and forth. Then they post a Courtney Clenny of the white woman killing the black man. You know, and here's the thing. We can nitpick at different topics. I just want to talk about the data in general, but I do want to show you guys the Twitter wars from white Twitter's perspective first. Then we're going to go to black Twitter perspective. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, so this was an interesting take from some guy who I don't necessarily know, white or black, but I'm going to assume that he's white. All right. The coal burner phenomenon and the phenomenon of guys constantly mocking female victims of predictable black violence are directly related to each other. All right. So this one first, his first point, white masculinity wanes due to modern pop culture influences and socioeconomic prosperity. This includes moral and physical strength encompassing the ability of white men to attract and keep a woman's affection, and the ability of white fathers to teach their daughters about the nature of real life and the clear and present dangers of believing in a fantasy such as race is just skin deep. Treating her body like a carnival ride or treating her life like she is in a TV show character who benefits from exceptions to very well-established generalizations. Caveat, this job is extraordinarily difficult in the 21st century, and is constantly undermined by other forces. 2, pop culture influences bombard women with anti-racist values, making relationships with black men seem realistic when they are statistically and anecdotally the opposite of that. Okay, 3, pop culture also encourages women to sleep with fun and entertaining men, regardless of any repercussions of this behavior. Ergo, dopamine delivery is literally the only consideration for many women. The cost is her youth and sometimes her physical safety. And 4, men embittered by their own weakness, and men who are not weak or embittered at all can only watch from afar as young women destroy themselves with decisions that are utterly predictable to anyone with a firm grasp of causality. Sorry. All right. And then he says, I should add many young women's lives are destroyed by white guys in terms of time wasted or sexual emotional abuse. But the root cause remains the inability and willingness of American society to tell young women that the purpose of sex and dating is not merely dopamine. So that's his final point. Somebody says the comments are disgusting. She's only 17. She didn't know what she was doing, nor should she be expected to have known. The failure rests squarely on the shoulders of the adults in her life who are responsible for her well-being. No doubt more than one person actively encouraged their relationship. So yeah, that is a possibility. Let's see. This is a sister. Whether anyone agrees with interracial dating or not, she certainly didn't deserve what happened. And the comments making fun of her and making fun of her mother for letting it happen are reprehensible. Her father is currently bragging about how his family was raised to not see race. Definitely let down by adults in the room. So this tweet comes November 9th, and he says, I appreciate you, Gabe. I just don't have time to knock and report all these races. My family was taught from a young age that the skin color or eye shape or any other nonsense doesn't make you who you are. Serenity was such a caring person and tried to see the best in everyone. So the father or mother, I believe that's actually the mother's account, as we looked earlier, is the one who, or actually it's probably both of them tweeting from one account. But he responded, and obviously that's his take. And he is woke. He's entitled to his opinion for sure. But I definitely think it's important to acknowledge the dangers, right? Hard to pretend to care about it anymore. Okay, so you have people kind of checking out and being more apathetic about it. All right, so let's see if we can find another one that's okay. All right, so that's pretty much Twitter. I mean, it goes deeper. It goes deeper, but let's keep on pushing. All right. Hopefully my personal Facebook page does not interfere with this stream, but we will try our best. Okay. So let's see. All right. So here we go. This is his page. We're going to learn a lot about him. All right. We're going to learn a lot about him. Worked at Chipotle. Went to Blacksburg High School. Lives in Blacksburg, Virginia. Very ironic that this happened in Blacksburg. Obviously, insert your racist jokes, right? But anyways, let's keep going into the photos, and then we'll go a little bit on his timeline. So obviously, football pictures. As you can see, he's got the pacifier mouthpiece. And it looks like he himself had a very diverse upbringing. He was brought up around all different types of people. This is him. This is him with the mouthpiece, pacifier mouthpiece. I'm surprised nobody is flaming his pictures. It looks like he ran track as well. Obviously taking a selfie with a graphic tee. He says, all jokes aside, stop what you're doing and show love and respect. Let's please get them to, so I don't know what he's saying here. Maybe promoing something. Another picture. Another selfie. Another selfie. At Chipotle. The dyed hair. Okay. Dyed his hair. That's a red flag in my opinion. I think the dyed hair phenomenon is a sign of self-diagnosed depression. A lot of guys want to be weird. They want to, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's the emo culture. But when black people take on the emo culture, it doesn't really work, because instead of harming themselves, like normally a regular emo goth person, yeah, they're going to cut themselves. They're going to cut their, legs and wrists and all that kind of stuff. And self-harm, in this case, yeah, he was self-harming as well, but he also harmed another person. But you have a lot of black men and black women alike taking on emo culture and kind of delving into their own self-diagnosed depression. And I don't think it's healthy at all. I think it's bullshit. I think a lot of people, I mean, it looks like he was it looks like he wasn't disadvantaged at all. I mean, you got the job at Chipotle. I mean, what more could you ask for, my nigga? You're getting a free meal after every shift, and you know you're working at a very young age. So, let's keep going. So it says, "Let's go Blue Demons." So throwing up the West Side. I don't really think that it's a gang thing in this context. But obviously he hung with a diverse group, as you can see. Eating picture, which is okay. Okay, so he's in the shower with a bonnet on. Very interesting. Like I said, very diverse group. I guess this is his house. They got a lot of dogs in there on carpet, which, you know, interesting. Looks like potentially his best friend, the Asian guy. This is the picture that I use or one of the pictures I used in thumbnail. This was prom 2022. It's another white girl in this one. So as you guys can see, some would say this was a zesty picture. I don't know who the woman is that he's with though. Now I'm trying to look at the scenery. It looks like this is home. He lives in some townhomes or maybe apartment complex. Doesn't look like the hood though. So we ain't going, oh, he was from the gutter. He was da-da-da-da. Nah, it doesn't look like he was from the hood like that. Just, you know, probably 2, 3, or maybe even 2 1-bedroom apartment with his mama, maybe some siblings and some dogs. Like I said, the dyed hair, in my opinion, is a red flag. Embracing emo culture. Let's see. Vote Croney for sophomore homecoming court. So it looks like he was, you know, pretty loved at his school. Yeah, and this is an apartment complex. Look how here comes Spider-Man. Y'all tell me why when I was at the fair with my girl the other day, 2 white girls started fighting. The cops came over and one of them automatically grabbed me by the arm, assuming I had something to do with it. My girlfriend and her sister as my witness. I was just trying to enjoy my day with my girlfriend. So let me exit out of that. He said he was being racially profiled, substantiated, but you know, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, you know, it actually happened, which I mean, a lot of people who, you know, say they are racially profiled, a lot of them be capping. I will say that as well. So let's just take note of that. But you know, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, so this is him with another chick. I mean, it looked like, it really does genuinely looks like he's a pretty normal kid. There go the dogs and his mama, I believe. It looked like he was a pretty normal kid. I love hot moms. So where did things go wrong? That is the main question. All right. So obviously, love the cat. All right. So I think we've had enough. Unfortunately, this guy killed his ex-girlfriend and himself. Now let's go down the timeline. All right. So, all right. So here is, it's a scene of them partying, maybe a high school party. And, you know, I'm not saying that you can't have fun. And I just want to. I'm Croney, and welcome to Blacksburg. Okay, so he was class clown, got the fire extinguisher and aired that bitch out. You know, I don't know if this was in their school, if he had permission to do this. I would assume not. So he was, you know, willing to bend the rules like many young teens would do. We're just trying to break down the pathology as to what could have led him to this. Okay, so I'm going to have to turn the music down. So they're taking shots on the job at Chipotle. So we talk about, oh, he's struggling with mental health. When you involve drugs with a struggle for mental health, it never ends well. All right. Let's see. So I guess he put on a wig. They're clowning around on the bus. I think he took the girl's wig. So I mean, this is just kind of his experience at school. See what they're talking about.
That's why I have to get to know.
All right, so in home ec class, obviously. All right. Them boxing. Oh shit. Looks like he landed a right punch, right hook. Repping the school. I mean, very much seemed like a normal kid. You know, had a lot of friends. Lots of friends. Probably doing some irresponsible things, right? But I don't necessarily think that it's something that you could have looked at and said, hey, he was going to delete this young lady. Let's see. Okay, so, you know, doing TikToks with a few other girls. Hold on. Very interesting here. So look at this. Wait up. Okay. It looks like they were, maybe this is Halloween or some type of pep rally week, homecoming week thing where they dressed up, but he wears a shirt that says, I'm white. Interesting. Oh, man. So we're learning a lot about, you know, his past couple years. Looks like he's breaking out of his mama's crib. They're boxing outside at the apartment. A fight broke out in high school, right? Music, obviously, we can't play it. But it looks like he had a good high school experience, honestly, right? A lot of friends. This was definitely suspect. I'm not going to lie. Very suspect. But nothing out of the ordinary, right? Just boys being boys. Okay, now that was suspect as well. Maybe he was struggling with homosexuality. Okay, so yeah, that was very suspect. With the Pooh Shiesty mask, okay, as you guys can see. Another high school party. How the fuck are these kids having so many parties with alcohol and drugs, hyping up the student section? As you can see. So yeah, very interesting. That's pretty much how his last couple years were. And then he's got some boxing videos as well on his timeline where he's fighting. But other than that, I mean, I really don't see anything that's really out of the ordinary. Doesn't look like he was involved in a gang or anything. But he killed this young lady. So let's see what we're gonna do. We'll drop the StreamYard link if you guys want to come up, and then we'll start talking about some of the data. All right, so just drop the StreamYard link. I mean, very interesting. But we did find his Facebook account. If you guys want to join the stream, let's talk about it. Let me give you oh shit. Oh wow. No way. Oh wow. Oh shit, never mind. I was finna say, I thought I seen some crazy shit. But yeah, let's see how old was he? It's so weird because I wonder if he might have had, if he was a junior. Very interesting story here. But I mean, and guys, just for the holdup, I found a story of a Croney monk in Connecticut, same place that he's from. And this guy was accused and convicted of sexual assault. So I wonder if this is his father potentially. And I don't want to, go as far as to say that it was, but I mean, they got the same name. Dude's from Connecticut. I don't know. Maybe a coincidence though, right? But the case is called State versus Monk. So if you guys want to look that up, I can't confirm nor deny if that is actually his father though. But I know it's not him because the age of the case is too old. But yeah, I did drop the stream. If you guys want to join, I'll drop the link one more time. Okay. But yeah, I actually have one more news story. Just want to get as much coverage as possible. And then we will talk about the data for sure. So let's get into it.
Community is mourning after 2 high school students were found dead in a parking garage.
And the family of one of the victims says it was a murder-suicide. 10 News reporter Sydney Jacksteimer kicking off our live team coverage tonight. She's been working for you to identify the teenagers and learn more about this heartbreaking crime. So sad, Sydney.
Yeah, well, John, Rachel, family and friends tell us it was Serenity, Hawley, and Croney who were the 2 teenagers found dead inside of this Blacksburg parking garage. Now, there's already been a makeshift memorial out here with flowers, teddy bears, and notes honoring the 2 teens.
She was a great kid. I couldn't ask for a better child. I mean, she was just amazing.
Everything was falling into place for Serenity Hawley. She had been accepted into Virginia Tech and was just 2 days away from turning 18 until an ex-boyfriend of hers, Croney Monk, shot and killed her in a Blacksburg parking garage, then took his own life, according to Serenity's family.
She was just very vivacious. I mean, she was larger than life. And to know that she's gone is just unreal.
Blacksburg police say both of the teens were students at Blacksburg High School. Serenity's parents say she was an excellent student and involved in lots of after-school programs.
At school, she got into DECA and Young Life.
Serenity's mom says she learned about an incident between her daughter and Croney about a month ago from the school, but never thought this would happen.
The biggest thing is to watch for those red flags. Don't ignore or think that this wouldn't happen to your daughter, because I would have never in a million years thought that.
Okay. So definitely deep for them. Like I said, condolences to the family. Let's see. Let me just kind of look. We are on the FBI crime statistics website. We'll share this guy, we'll share the tab with you guys. So obviously violent crime has, been a huge topic of discussion, especially in the recent years, starting with the year 2020. So as you guys can see, this is the rate of violent crime by population. And the trend is pretty, it's bouncing from year to year. But you do see an apparent decline from 2020 because 2020 was just so crazy. And it's kind of leveling out to 2019 rates in 2022. According to the FBI. But as you guys can see, we have the violent crime offender versus victim demographics by race. All right. So, all right. I want to look at the domestic violence. Let's see. All right. Let's see if they actually have a section for domestic violence. Let me just exit out so I can actually find it. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised nobody's joining the stream. You know, I dropped the link. I mean, you guys, this is, if you want to say your piece, this is the time. We are having this discussion. Let's see. All right. Okay. Let's see. FBI crime stats in a nutshell. Brothers dominate that shit like the NBA. Yeah. Unfortunately, as you guys can see, what we're really focused on is homicides, really. A lot of the other statistics kind of muddy the waters. We're talking about homicides here. As you guys can see, African Americans lead in the offender and victim column, followed by whites. But yeah, obviously has got to change. Too many murders in the community, but this is real data from 2022. Excuse me. All right. And then they also have ethnicity. Okay. There we go. So let's see. Let me just see if they have something specific to domestic violence. And apparently that one graphic that we found on Twitter was shown from, what was it, the Department of Justice. But a lot of these different companies that post data, they don't really post them in a succinct format, if you will. So let's see. Let me see if I can find a video to give me more time to pull up this data. I know I have it in one of my folders, but probably be easier to just pull it up on Google. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, there's not really many other news stories that we haven't already covered. Oh, we got Wicked who joined the stream. What's good, Wicked?
What's up, brother? My only thing about this right here is I just find it incredible and disgusting how nobody talks about it. It happens so often that and again, I know you don't mind me saying, I hope you don't mind me saying, but that a black male kills a white female.
Yeah, I don't mind at all.
And we can't talk about it. It can't be said. If you even imply it, something is wrong with you. And I think it's just unfortunate,
Yeah.
But to be fair to that, they're killing everybody. It's not like they're just killing white girls. It just happens.
That is true.
Proximate,
Yeah. That is true. And here's the thing: if you can say, okay, violence against black women women are on the uptick, then you have to concede that, okay, who's doing that? Well, it is black men who are doing that. If they're, committing violence against black women, then they're most likely committing violence against other races of women that they're involved in, that we're involved with, right? Because we have to take accountability as a group. Now, obviously, you're not going to bear one man's one man's actions, right? But as a group, it's important for us to talk about this. And let's see, I do have a study that was done on family violence statistics. It's a long study, 76 pages. So I'm gonna pull it up, but I think you make a great point, Wicked, because in order to solve an issue, you have to address the issue at first, acknowledge the issue at first. And I think our biggest issue is just acknowledging that this is a real thing.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? And again, I'm trying to be as fair as I can, right, bro? I agree with what you just said. It's true. But I think with that, in that same breath, I mean, there's like, it's hopeless, right? I mean, some of these dudes are just violent. Some of these dudes, and it goes to, it's kind of how me and Ak have said, all groups, bro, have violent men, violent degenerates,
Mhm.
all of them. It just seems that the volume of those men in the black community, in the black group, there's a lot. It's a lot of them, and unfortunately, those are the ones that seem to be the most like overwhelming as it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you compare the violence here in America, anyway, right, of like Asian degenerate, right, to a black degenerate, the black degenerate is gonna bring the pain, baby. You know,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gonna do what they do.
Yeah,
And
that's a fact.
and as it is, there's just a lot more of them. You know, and again, I'm coming from a position, bro, where I don't think it's fair that the rest of the society, including black folks, should have to survive these clowns. You know,
Yeah.
let's lock them up and throw away the key. You know,
Definitely. And it's wild that this is something that, hasn't really been delved into, other than on Twitter. And, you see it all the time, right? On Twitter, the people highlighting this phenomena, but you don't really see it in the mainstream.
No. And even then, no one does it like you and I. If you know somebody, let me know. I want to know, bro. I gotta get going, bro. I'm going to the show right now. I mean, much love to you. You be safe, brother.
All right, you too, brother. All right, guys. So that was Wicked. Yeah. So in a lot of these studies, they're breaking down. Okay, the rates of. I'll just kind of show you. I'll just show you guys. All right. So right here, this one is. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. Let's see. So this is 2020 Intimate Partner DIR report victimization rates. Let's see. So these are victims, all right, and obviously, as you guys can see, and this is per 10,000. So it's you have 302 black female victims per 10,000. Versus 138 black male victims. And then when you look at the white victims, it's 48 per 10,000 and then 136. So, I mean, just that is extremely concerning because, I mean, what is that? We have 3 times higher domestic violence rate against women specifically in the community. Well, almost 3. It's about like close to 2.5. But you have this significant increase. And, it's something that is seldom spoken about. Let's see. So as you can see, okay, this is just the victimization rate. Basically, repeating what we already know. But I want to get into, let's see. I want to get into more straightforward data, which is, I mean, it is really hard to find, especially if you're, because a lot of these people, they kind of put their own data together, because they, you know, a lot of these government entities and even companies won't do these studies and put the data together completely in the form that we would want it, right? So you kind of have to put your own data together, read between the lines. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can find some more specific. Obviously, the Twitter graphics paint a picture, but you know, you can't completely trust that data. You know, I'm not just gonna like take a screenshot. I'd actually have to find the graphic myself. But let's see if we can get some from the Department of Justice. All right. Let's see. All right, so we're going to the Department of Justice. Take a look really quickly. See if they have what we're looking for. Demographic. Yeah, so they're not really putting it together by they're not really putting the data together. They're just showing them individually in most cases, in most of these studies that we're looking at here. Let's see if I can get something more clear. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Let me throw something in the background. Somebody said R.I.P. Colin. Who's Colin? Oh, Colin Flaherty. Oh yeah, the guy who covered this type of data. Yeah, right. All right. Yeah, it's let me see. Because I have like data on, okay, black on black domestic violence. Let's see. Okay. Might have found something worth looking at. I'm really interested in the fatal. Okay, here we go. Organization. Okay. Somebody says I have that ebook. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. All right. So let's see. This is from our pubs. So we'll take a look at this right here. And this is from 2019. As you guys can see. Let me see if I can zoom these graphics. All right. All right. So as you guys can see, non-fatal violent incidents among blacks and whites. So this is obviously black on black. And And they're saying white on black is 3%, black on black is 13%, white on white 65%, black on white is 18%. So as you can see, and this is really kind of what we're looking at right here, because obviously by population, white people are going to have more crime in general because they outnumber us. What is it, like by five, honestly. But the black on white crime is significantly higher than the white on black crime. And this is from the Bureau of Justice, which I wish we could copy this link, but it's not letting you. Then we have non-fatal interracial violent crime. So you see 84% of these non-fatal interracial violent crimes between white and black people, 84% of them are black on white, 16% are white on black. Definitely contradictory to the narrative that is spun. And then even between blacks and Hispanics, you see 85% of these non-violent or non-fatal rather interracial violent interactions have you have black on Hispanic outnumbering Hispanic on black. And then when we look at white and Hispanic, between white and Hispanics, you have Hispanics on white outnumbering white on Hispanic. But if you look at the charts, you have white on Hispanic, which kind of doesn't really, for me, it doesn't really mean much because there are white Hispanics now, right? That you have people classifying as white Hispanics. So it could be technically white on white, but then they might consider the white man Hispanic if he's doing this to, they might consider the white man a white man. And if he does this to a woman or a man who speaks Spanish, but they're still white, they'll consider that white on Hispanic. So as you guys can see, non-fatal black on white interracial violence. So you have 472,000 violent incidents versus 89,000 white on black. So as you guys can see, and this is a rate of interracial non-fatal violent crime by offender population. And obviously, the black on white, and this is 11,000 per 1 million blacks. Okay. So, versus 456 per 1 million whites when we're comparing white on black. So the data is obviously staggering and obviously apparent. And like I said, you're not going to find all this data in one place. As a matter of fact, it was pretty much this gathered together. It's pretty much not going to be found in one place unless somebody actually does it, which obviously this guy actually took the data from the U.S. Census and the Bureau of Justice and Statistics and put them together. So this actually paints a very bleak picture for us in the community, but it's not acknowledged. And that's my biggest issue, because if we keep just allowing this to happen and, nobody is really touching this, at least any quote unquote trusted academics, which that is hard to identify in this day and age in general. But trusted academics from a mainstream point of view, if they're not acknowledging it, then this issue will not be solved. And I can tell you that right now. So this is violent incidents by victim and offender race. So as you guys can see, this is the victim race column, or not columns, but the victim race in the rows, and then the offender race in the columns. Okay. So as you can see, if it's a black, offender, black offender, black victim, then you see this 70% number here. All right. And if you go, let's go black offender, white victim, you see this 15% number here. Let's go white offender, black victim, you're seeing this 10% number here. All right. So in all total, they're showing the total victimizations of whites, and it looks like overwhelmingly, obviously, white people are victimized the most, and that includes white on white, which is obviously going to be the most predominant. But when you break it down between races, obviously you can see the individual numbers as well. Let's see. So that one's pretty much very similar graphic. All right. Oh shit. So this one looks like it's actually pretty interactive. They said look at Asians, 27%. Oh yeah. So they're saying white on Asian, 24%, black on Asian, 27%. Yeah. And that's not good. And that is where the Stop Asian Hate bill came from. And we had the discussion about Asians as well yesterday, and how they are being victimized by black people in general, but mainly black men, the Thug Max Alpha Sims, unfortunately. The super gremlins of the world. Let's see. So here you guys go. So when the offender is white and the victim is black, that's really what we're focused on. Then you have a total victim count of 5 million. The percentage of that total is 1.18%. All right. That's when the offender is white and the victim is black. So out of this 5 million number of total offenses, when it's white on black, it's 1.18%. So that is a total victim rate of 563,000. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's go here. So when you have black offender, white victim, as you can see, the percentage is 10 times that, 10.83%. All right. And then you see the victim rate increase. But you don't see the offender rate increase, which is very interesting. The offender rate pretty much stays steady right here. And essentially you have a lower number of offenders when it comes to black on white offenses, but a higher rate of offenses. So that just shows you that a very small percentage of black men are doing a lot of damage. And I think that a lot of it is enabled. Honestly, I think a lot of it is socially engineered as well, with the BLM movements and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, now they got pie charts on this shit. I mean, and this is a tough pill to swallow for the community, right? But these are things that we have to address and be cognizant of so that we don't repeat these cycles, okay? So in this case, you have the offender race in the rows and the victim in the columns, okay? So when we have a white offender, white victim, you have 2.2 million. When you have white offender, black victims, it's 59,000. All right. Now let's go back. When you have black offender, black victim, you have 396,450, which in my opinion is surprisingly low. But when you have black offender, white victim, it's 547,000 victims, white victims, right? That is 10 times the rate of what white offenders are doing to black victims. So I just want you guys to understand that these are staggering numbers, and it looks like we're outpacing white offenders tenfold, essentially. So let's see. This is a very interesting pie chart. Let's see. Violent victimizations by race or offender. The information above can be encoded in. Okay. The core diagram showing violent victims. So this is just the diagram. Violent victimizations by race of offender and victim. Okay. So as you guys can see, it's just a diagram showing what we just looked over in the data. Oh, excuse me. Drop the stream link again, just in case anybody didn't get it, wants to join. Let's see. So number of violent incidents by victim and offender race. So as you guys can see, they're breaking down the offender race and the victim race. Violent incidents, and this is the incidents. Okay, so they have 62% of white victims, 87% of white offender victimizations, and 43% of all 2018 victimizations. All right, so in the black offender category, obviously, you have 15% of these victims being white victims, and 49% of black offender victimizations. All right. So, and it is 10% of all victimizations that are interracial, if you will. All right. So I think that kind of breaks it down pretty well. Obviously, it's not specific to domestic violence. But we can essentially just look at the domestic violence rates by demographic and kind of come to your own conclusion. Okay. So let's see. Only for studying union because abuse is not. All right, so I have a article here. So let's see. Unsurprisingly, statistics concerning. Okay, so this was written October 25th, 2023. So this is pretty recent. The author is Buddy T. Buddy T is a writer and founding member of Online AI and On. All right, so unsurprisingly, statistics concerning intimate partner violence vary widely from study to study and year to year. And because abuse is not widely discussed by both victims and perpetrators, many speculate intimate partner violence is probably vastly underreported, which I agree with. Research suggests that while around 25% of the population experience domestic violence, only about 2.5% to 15% report abuse. This is especially true among certain ethnic groups in the United States, as there are many cultures where violence against women is considered common and part of typical family life. So domestic violence and identity, even with low reporting, the number of women of color impacted by domestic violence is shockingly high. So they're saying it's shockingly high, even with underreporting. And we all know that the community is most likely to underreport their domestic violence incidents because you're labeled a snitch. Even women are labeled snitches nowadays. So as you can see, in fact, according to the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, approximately 4 out of 10 non-Hispanic Black women, American Indian or Alaskan Native women and 1 in 2 multiracial non-Hispanic women have been a victim of physical violence, rape, and or stalking by a partner in their lifetime. Women of sexual minorities also experience higher rates of domestic violence, with 44% of lesbian women and 61% of bisexual. All right, we don't really care about that. Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most likely to experience domestic violence, followed by teens between the ages of 11 and 17. Let's see if they... Although completely accurate numbers are not easily available, researchers generally agree that among ethnic minority groups in the United States, Black people are the most likely to experience domestic violence, either male to female or female to male, followed by Hispanic people and white people. Asian people are the least likely to experience intimate partner violence. So what were we talking about yesterday about how Asian Americans are the nicest people by demographic, and it's not even close. Nicer than white people, nicer than Black people, nicer than Hispanic people, nicer than Native Americans as well. The Women of Color Network reports economic insecurity combined with isolation, racism, and discrimination. Okay, so I don't see how racism contributes to the increase in Black women and their challenges with domestic violence, because it's Black men who are victimizing them and beating on them and, you know, killing them. So, I mean, just with that in mind, the article is pretty woke, but then it also acknowledges that, hey, domestic violence in the Black community is the highest. So with domestic violence being the highest in the Black community, you can only infer that if a Black man in turn goes and, you know, dates another race, then that data still is that data. So, I mean, we can talk about it. We can have the discussion. Doesn't look like anybody is trying to join the panel, but I think I've kind of fleshed it out pretty well in this. So now let's get to solutions. All right. How do we find solutions to this issue? Well, obviously, white supremacist Twitter and even Hotep Twitter would tell you, or pro-Black Twitter would tell you, hey, you know, just don't date outside your race. But that still doesn't solve the issue of domestic violence in the Black community. All right. So like I said, how do we solve the issue? Obviously, choice in partner is pivotal in solving the issue. Not to victim blame, but choice in partner is important. Doing your vetting, doing your research, doing a background check, making sure that the guy doesn't have an extensive violent criminal record. Another solution could be, you know, obviously, if you do see signs, you got to get away ASAP. That also could be potential vetting process as well. But yeah, I mean, if anybody else has any more solutions, I personally don't have experience with domestic violence to that degree. I mean, I done had some crazy bitches in my life, but ain't none of them really, I mean, you know, besides like a slap, maybe, really went crazy where I had to defend myself or they, them, or they had to defend themselves, right? So I haven't had personal experience with any of this, honestly. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I mean, I've kind of seen couples fight verbally. I've seen it online, of course, but I haven't seen it in my personal life where, like, you know, somebody's beating the shit out of their spouse. I just haven't seen it in my personal life. A lot of this happens behind closed doors. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We looked at the data. We looked at the response of white Twitter. Maybe if we, let me see if I can find any response from, or just see what comes up when you look up the Croney monk. Okay, so this is what white Twitter is saying. They say, how do you let your daughter date a Black guy named Croney Monk and not expect the worst? I mean, I don't think his name is any indicator. Let's see. Somebody posting Bible verses. So as you guys can see, all right, somebody's just posting a story. Restraining order wouldn't have done anything to prevent this. I continue to be amazed that young white girls seem to flock to these types People need to teach their kids the pitfalls of such relationships. Okay. I expect we will see many more as television series, movies, commercials, and teen magazines all promote interracial couples as a positive thing. Teens are inundated with it. Couple that with the brainwashing they are getting in school. So obviously, as you can see, the white Twitter is not happy about this. So this one says, "Mom, Dad, I'm dating Croney Monk." Somebody says, "Like hell you are. Get your ass back in your convent." I don't really know who that is, but I guess it's supposed to be a joke. Okay, so they're saying, "Guess who did the shooting? When will these white girls learn?" So nigga, wait a second. So this might be a somebody from the community. He says, "Nigga, wait a second. You let your beautiful daughter date a nigga named Croney Monk. This shit writes itself." So this is from my understanding, he is using the N-word. So I'm assuming he's a black guy behind this profile, or maybe not. Maybe he's somebody else, right? They say Croney Monk sounds like the street name for a narcotic. Let's see. So yeah. Oh, there goes me. All right. Yeah, there's not really much information on this guy. They had a no contact order. There was the school's order, not even a legal restraining order. Wow. And he crashed out over a no contact order from the school. They're saying he was trying to be a pimp. How? Yeah, I don't know where he got that from. Any word on the boyfriend? Any pics? Okay. Yeah, so they definitely got the pics. Yeah. So, very sad story here. There's not much more information than we can get. We looked at his Facebook. Pretty much it. I would have liked to see. Hold on. Yeah, I would have liked to see more of Black Twitter speaking on this. But, this isn't their field. This isn't their forte. They're not going to address anything like this. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't really have anything else on it. But very deep story, very sad story. Obviously, condolences to the family. Very cute girl. Obviously, people are pushing the family, as you guys saw from their Twitter response, to blame Black people in general. And I don't think that's necessarily the route, but I do think it is important to acknowledge these truths and the cultural differences, right? Hold on, let's see. Oh yeah, I got one more story. Culture differences, and then the rate of domestic violence is very important to understand. And then you also have to understand what type of person your kid is dating as well. A simple Facebook search. He's going to parties, drinking at work. That I'm not saying. He is a high school kid, even though I wasn't drinking in high school like that. But very deep subject. Let's listen to this newscast, though.
The family of a Blacksburg teenager should be celebrating her birthday tonight, but instead, they're planning her funeral. Serenity Hawley was killed Tuesday in what's believed to be a murder-suicide. 10 News reporter Connor Dietrich shares how, despite tragedy, the community is still coming together to celebrate a life taken too soon.
On what would have been her 18th birthday, Serenity Hawley's life is being honored by her friends and family at the places she loved most. With every flower and every tear, Family and friends of Serenity Hawley are coming together to mourn the loss of a teenage girl they say was truly one of a kind.
She truly was the life of the party. Like like that's the best way to describe her. You walked in and it was like, oh my gosh, Serenity's here.
Serenity Hawley was killed Tuesday in what's believed to be a murder-suicide. Hawley's older sister, Trinity, loved her sister and remembers her fondly for even the simplest things, like her obsession with Diet Coke. Trinity says life won't be the same moving forward.
It's always going to feel like a part of us is missing. A part of my family will always be, like there will be just a huge hole. I know she's in heaven right now, smiling down, seeing all these people that love her.
Thursday was supposed to be Serenity's 18th birthday, and what should have been a celebration of entering adulthood became very different, a celebration of life. Hundreds of close friends and family created a memorial outside Your Pie Pizza in Blacksburg, where Serenity worked. The teenager's parents are turning pain into purpose, using their tragedy as a way of helping others struggling with domestic abuse.
We can do something through her passing to help someone else escape, this kind of torment, and then that's what we want to do.
A life cut too short, but it's a life that will be remembered by the people and in the places she loved.
It just shows how much that she was loved, and it shows her character. It shows how she was sweet and kind to every single soul on this planet, and that we're all living it out for her.
And the support will continue this Saturday when the community comes together for a vigil at Blacksburg High School. In Blacksburg, Connor Dietrich, 10 News, working for you.
All right. So you see that there. Actually, they actually have some more on this, so I might just let it ride, and we'll just watch some more videos. And maybe they'll give us some more details on who this guy really was. But yeah, they're at the location of the parking garage where she was killed. Let's watch this one as well.
Yeah, I talked with this Montgomery County superintendent, and he told me situations like this one impact the entire community.
When these tragedies occur, you look at the ripple effects of the impact, right? Like ripples in a pond in a small community, it impacts everyone.
When Montgomery County Superintendent Bernard Bragan heard the devastating news that 2 Blacksburg High School students had died, his team immediately put a plan in place to help the students who are hurting.
So as soon as we got that information last night, our administrative team worked diligently to put supportive services in place.
He says he's had similar situations like this at previous school systems, and it's hard every time.
As a parent of 3 daughters, I can't imagine what these families are going through, and we're not made to bury our kids.
He also says he believes the best way to get through this is to grieve as a community.
And I've found in my own personal experience working with children that that's better sometimes to do that in a group with other people around you, and that we grieve together and we get through this together.
The school system is also working with local organizations to support students, staff, and families.
This has a devastating impact on our community, and we're going to try our best to get through it together.
In a press release from the Blacksburg Police, it states they believe this is an isolated incident, but this is still an ongoing investigation. Bragan tells me even though they were in school today, this was not business as usual. They're taking the situation one day at a time. Live in Blacksburg, I'm Thomas Mundy, 10 News, working for you.
This is a developing story. We're going to have updates on air and online at WSLS.com as they're available.
Yeah, so damn. I mean, like I said, I really would love to see the dynamics of their relationship for sure. I would have loved to see it because, you know, this whole scenario, this whole situation is very sad, obviously. But this guy, he had to be bad news in some way. There had to be some type of signs. But yeah, as a, you know, just covering these stories over and over again, you start to see that a lot of times the family, they might see signs, they might see this, they might see that. And obviously they had a no contact order from the school, not legally though. And then a lot of restraining orders and no contact orders get broken. It's just like, at this point, obviously I know the family wish that she just would have never gotten involved with the guy in the first place. So, very sad story. Obviously, this is another interracial shooting, and it doesn't look good for the community. It never does. Every time it just seeps and digs deeper. It's not good, man, and we have to acknowledge this. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. Things are going to get worse. So let's keep going.
The death of 2 Blacksburg High School students is reinforcing the importance of healthy relationships. 10 News reporter Kelly Marsh spoke to a local expert about some of the warning signs that both young people and parents need to keep in mind.
Young life taken too soon after an apparent murder-suicide. Loved ones say Serenity Hawley was shot and killed by her ex-boyfriend before he turned the gun on himself. Her mom tells 10 News that Blacksburg High School had issued a no-contact order for the 2 teens, and she had pushed for a restraining order. Laura Beth Weaver, executive director of the Women's Resource Center of the New River Valley, says looking out for red flags in a relationship is a priority.
Taking control of all of the decision making, things like trying to be in control of what the partner wears or eats or where they go. Pushing someone to break rules and boundaries, right? So my curfew is 11 o'clock and my boyfriend on purpose keeps me out past 11 o'clock every night, right?
According to the CDC.
Those are their signs. She's the expert, right? That wasn't that much of a sign to me, though.
See, 1 in 12 students experience physical dating violence. Weaver says that doesn't account for emotional, financial, or exploitation that students are going through as well.
For 1 in 12 adolescents to self-report that they'd experienced it in the last year is too many. It's never the victim's fault.
From healthy to unhealthy to abusive relationships, the main difference is a power dynamic.
And really, the distinction between those is the power imbalance. When one person has and maintains power over another person's behaviors or choices, and that can start very early. That's not a thing that waits for marriage.
Now she urges the community to ask for help when needed. I'm Kelly Marsh, 10 News, working for you.
So there you have it. I think we covered pretty much every angle of this topic, of this discussion. Like I said, white supremacist Twitter, they're definitely digging into the mother, which I don't think is necessarily fair. Obviously, you can make your point while still, having the respect for the family. But yeah, this is really deep. In other posts, she has limited. In other posts, she's limited the comments, but you still have people saying, "You let her date her," da 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 da, boom boom bap, all that kind of stuff. And even if they would have said, "Hey, you can't date this guy," that would have just made her want to date him more. So. You can't just blame the parents necessarily. Obviously, there's plenty of blame to go around, as much as it sucks to say. Let's see. Okay, so people are actually vouching for Croney's character as well in the comments. You have comments saying people loved him at the school. He was really nice. So wow. And obviously it's crazy. I mean, there's just the arguments in the Twitter space. There's like a war in her comment section. She probably should just delete her Twitter, honestly, the family. Let's see. They're asking if people are saying he might have had issues before dating her, besides like the mental health shit. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they are laying it in. They are laying it in on her and the family. I mean, it's deep. It is deep. It's deep, man. They got the here, let's see. They got the Scott Adams. This nigga looking back. Woo! They're saying these comments are insane. Damn. So yeah, you have this person with a, let's see, time grinder going in on the family. So as you guys can see, they are also posting interracial violent incidents per capita. Okay, so this is a chart, as you guys can see, which is unsubstantiated, but I mean, it pretty much looks accurate from the data that we looked at. First photo of the boyfriend who shot and killed his ex-girlfriend. All right, so you have somebody cropping Scott Adams in that one as well. But yeah, they're going in on the mother's page. So if you guys want to read the comments, I definitely don't encourage you to, go in and, add on to her pain. But she definitely is in pain. Let's see. Let me see if I can maybe find anything else from her Twitter. Oh yeah, so she hasn't actually posted in a long time. She usually doesn't post. Yeah. Looks like she usually doesn't even post like that. But she posted today. And yo, she is receiving a lot of backlash. Let's see. Twitter trolls. Okay, so yeah. As you can see, the Twitter trolls, you see the toll paid comments. Somebody says she deserved it for race mixing. So that's pretty harsh there. Somebody said, what's it like being an incel? Glad you're happy in celibacy. Gabby Petito got murdered by her boyfriend. Yeah, that's true. Somebody says go outside and get some bitches. Okay, why did these 3 girls deserve it? This guy, I think I did a story on this one. He deleted all 3 of them too. I mean, domestic violence is a thing, but obviously, I mean, it is a fact that domestic violence rates are a lot higher in the community. But yeah, I mean, this is a hard pill to swallow. It really is, especially when you have the data straight in your face. I mean, there's no argument necessarily against it if you're basing it solely off of data. But obviously, everybody is open to making their own decisions. And I'm not against IR dating at all. As a matter of fact, I'm in an IR relationship. But I do think it's important for people to understand the risk and the data as well that backs it up, not only for perpetrators, but for victims as well. Let's see. Yeah, so people are posting another interracial. Oh, wow. And I didn't even see this one. I might do a story on this one. So let me save this one. But yeah, people are posting more interracial murders between black perpetrators and white victims. So very sad. This dude said in Blacksburg, never relaxburg. Damn, that's wild. That's wild. So this person has asked if the ex happened to be white, then what happens? They said, well, then the joke wouldn't work. Fortunately, we need to be troubled by the counterfactual, or fortunately, we need not be troubled by the counterfactual. Sorry. So yeah, obviously, white supremacist Twitter is having fun with this, and I thought that we could not necessarily have fun with it too, but I mean, we could point out the sentiment online, and that's what I'm most interested in. The sentiment. All right. Let's see. So the rest of it looks like people are just giving their condolences. Okay. Somebody says, teach your daughters to be racist. It might just save their life. Wow. He said, are you a real person? So people are grilling that individual. Somebody put the toll paid meme, as you guys can see. Let's see. Yeah, dude crashed out. Dude crashed out. Insane. So people are posting memes, all this stuff. Damn, somebody said race trader L. Wow. Oof. I mean, they're really laying it in. Thankfully, she finally limited her comments. I think she limited her comments when I went on stream, honestly. They're saying, why would you let your daughter date a guy like this? I mean, and like I said, there's no real indicators from his social media presence that he would do this. There really wasn't. Let's see. So this person says, this beautiful 17-year-old was murdered by black ex-boyfriend. The mother and media refused to use the label. Why? Even in the fucking death of her daughter, the mother still won't state obvious realities out of fear of Marxist labels like racism, a perfect microcosm. Somebody says, and if he was white, it would have been equally relevant to stress the racial description as well, right? He says it's less common amongst white couples, drastically less. Okay, so he's listing out all these things. Okay. If whites had extreme interracial rates like blacks, yes. Example, if Japanese women were dating whites and whites were violently hurting Japanese daughters at the current U.S. black-white 40-time proportional rates, Japan would treat it as a top crisis. Okay. Let's see. All right, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. They say, how did he kill her exactly? Was it a gun? Yeah, he shot her in the chest. Let's see. Lamestream media wasn't embedded with Hamas before, during, and after the attack. The more you know. Captain Freedom says Thug Max Alpha Simp chimped out, and she wasn't even all that cute. I mean, she was. I think she's cute. I mean, it ain't like she's a bad bitch or anything, but she was cute. You know what I'm saying? She had some. I mean, I don't want to, break down the attractiveness of a 17-year-old girl, right? But I mean, 17 is legal in Georgia, respectfully. But I think she's a cute girl. He says deleting mud sharks is an Olympic event in the hood. Yeah, seems like it. So let's see if I can maybe find a little bit more information. Then I'm gonna get out of here. All right, guys. Okay, so yeah, people other than the mother, other than the mother's comment thread or whatever. He said you wouldn't say she cold. I mean, excuse me. Nah, I mean, I probably wouldn't know. So after she broke up with him, yeah, so he shot and killed her. Damn. They said, who could possibly recognize that there's nothing going on behind those eyes? Oh, yeah, right here, he's high. He's definitely high as fuck. He definitely geeked up at Chipotle at work. Or he could be tired. But we did see him take shots at work, so that is pretty crazy. White women need to make better decisions. Many know what I am thinking, but I'll take the high road out of respect for her family. When will they learn? Death penalty? He's already dead. Hey, guys, on her Instagram to say the final words about what happens to... Oh, damn. Oh, so she has an Instagram. Serenity Hawley. All right. Damn. So let's see what's going on the Insta. They are leaving toll paid on her Instagram. Now, that's nuts, bro. I'm not gonna lie, that is nuts. So, but yeah, I mean, these guys really are. They're really laying it on. They're really laying it on her. So let's see. We'll go to the Instagram. Like I said, cute girl. People saying you didn't deserve this. Neither did your family. Cutie. And shout out to JT for all the lovely bedtime stories. Quite literally died on this hill. What hill? Oh, hold on. What? I quite literally died on this hill. Oh, that's her. Damn, that's her caption. Wow. Let's see. May you rest in peace. Looks like you will be throwing out your genetics as well. What? Mud sharks are the laughing stock of society. Wow. And this is a block page. RIP, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, so these are her prom pictures, it seems. Yeah, man. Shit gets deep. Shit gets deep. Let's see. So RIP, you got the RIP beautifuls. Oh, so this looks like it's a war in the comments section. Well, I mean, I don't have anything else to do on a Friday night. Let's read it. This guy says, don't date black guys. All right. Okay, literally, that's so racist. Any race could have done the same thing. That is so disrespectful to this girl. He says, actually, no. Black men kill at 38 times the rate of white men. Black women kill at a higher rate than white men because race is much deeper than simply skin color. Actually, skin color is just the tip of the iceberg. Behavior such as killing your girlfriend is deeply rooted in genetics and environment. Environment is entirely secondary. Anyone could have killed her, but the odds of it happening because she dated a racial mishap caused the likelihood to skyrocket. Somebody says racism is good and Latinx like yourself will be deported. Wow. Any race didn't. Statistically, the likelihood is way, way higher. And if her parents had taught her right, she would have been alive today. Can the Latinas be spared? You are right, though. And I have gotten aware on the hard data of this topic, though. But I think that blaming dead teenage girls who literally don't know any better is the wrong way to go about this. Obviously, you should encourage your daughter to stay away from dangerous hood types, though, as parents, which is something I'd be doing when I'm a mom. So this is a young lady who is acknowledging, as a matter of fact, and it looks like she's graduating from Virginia Tech in a couple of years. But she's acknowledging the fact that, which you don't really see from women. She's acknowledging the fact that the DV rates are higher in the Black community and therefore translate into interracial relationships. People saying statistics don't lie. This woman says you're the problem in society. And this is a young girl who, you know, she's trying to defend the friend or whatnot, which makes sense. She says, okay, so some Black men ruin it for all of them. No, Black men have something every white man wants. Y'all hold so much hate. LOL, grow up. And this is a common, how do I say? Okay, so, you know, there basically, I think she's making the penis envy argument, honestly, which is a common argument when it comes to these situations. And, you know, I mean, that is a thing for sure. But I don't think it's really relevant in this situation. But I also don't think it's fair for people to go in our comment section and do the whole toll paid thing. I mean, do that on your own page, but you know, the family, they might be looking at this, all this kind of stuff. The murder is a problem in society. I hope you learn SMTH from this. Oh, something from this. LOL, you're a kid. You don't know anything. What do they have that I want? Literally nothing. Okay. Do your parents even realize they're proof that two wrongs don't make a right? I've forgotten more than you ever knew. Thank you. Don't be ashamed of who you are, though. That's your parents' job. Her Black ex-boyfriend murdered her in her car in a parking garage. Okay, this is the guy who said don't date Black guys. Somebody says, okay, literally, that's so racist. Oh, okay. So are these comments repeating? All right. Yeah, I think these comments are repeating. It's a loop. All right. Yeah. So the comments are in a loop. Let's see. May you rest in peace. You're one of God's beautiful angels. All right. Somebody says, hey, there is always more white women. Pick any of her friends. Treat them the way her ex-boyfriend did. White women don't care. So, I mean, you do have some angry white guys in here who maybe feel like their white women are being stolen by Black men. But it also just, it doesn't change the fact that this guy took her life and the data is the data, or the data are the data, right? And you can grief bang the white mothers. White women are so easy. What the fuck is wrong with you? Bro, just stop it. Even if you are trolling, it's not morally right. Wrong. She just paid reparations. At this point, just stop, man. It's not my fault. She chose to be a statistic. So like I said, they're laying it in on her and her family. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's her Instagram. The trolls have reached her Instagram. Let's go back to Twitter. So yeah, the guy did make the toll paid comment on her Twitter. Let's see. They didn't learn anything from it either. They still have this feral Bantu in a family picture together at local Chinese restaurant. Wow. Where is the oh, okay, so they're saying he's in the family picture though. Is that him? He looks a lot taller in that family picture. He looks a lot taller. Is that really him though? I guess it is, yeah. He looked a lot taller in the, oh yeah, that is him. He looks way taller in the family picture. So he was a big guy, honestly. He looks like he's just about as tall as the dad. And he X'd her out, man. Father is to blame for letting this interloper into his house and not expelling her for betting it. Oof, betting it. It's crazy. Some coal taxes are pricier than others. Why is he dressed like an extra from Prisoner in 1967? Seriously. Let's have Disney make a movie about the real diversity going on. Young scholar who is about to get his life back on track. Expected behavior. This guy says sigh. The blacks. They have a mud shark meme. They have the Scott Adams shit. Yet another hush crime contradicting the anti-white narrative. That's a good point. Another scholar, toll status paid. Don't care. The mud shark got what she deserves. What somebody said. So as you guys can see, this guy is referring to black men as chimps, are known for not being able to handle rejection like a normal human. Well, mostly because they are not really human to begin with. Look at those eyes. Those are the eyes of a murder monkey. Wow. And then somebody replies and says, stop embarrassing white people. He said, facts aren't embarrassing. I'm sure you have no issue with black people calling the founders monkeys for enslaving blacks. And it says, Nogs behaved the same worldwide, from Switzerland to Haiti. Everywhere you find members of the Negro subspecies, they are dumber and 20 to 50 times more likely to murder. The slavery excuse only applies in USA, but given the above facts, it's obviously irrelevant. They are literally a different species to actual humans. If we measure the genetic distance, same distance as wolves and coyotes, etc. I haven't seen anything to substantiate that. I think he's definitely reaching on that one. But like I said, we do have real, big, huge, very real issues in our community. And I mean, there's really no defending this. There's no defending this. I say let them cook. That's why I'm reading these comments, because I want you to know how these people feel. I speak about backlash on my channel. You are going to get a lot of backlash. We as a community are going to get a lot of backlash. And it's going to start with the little shit on Twitter. And then if we push the envelope too far, it's going to get even deeper. But I mean, some of these are offensive, but then they're also funny. I am a person who can take a joke. I don't take things personally. But I understand that you have to be a representation of not only yourself, but of your race. And we have so many representatives of our race who are acting contrary to what is good, what is right, what is just. And it's a very unfortunate situation. You mean she got into his car after almost obtaining a restraining order after the school had to get involved? What is the present day version for early life check? I mean, she might have just been getting into the car for closure. Stop ahead, pay toll. Is it them again, Yogi? He said it's always them, boo-boo. That's wild. Damn, man. I mean, niggas are making us look horrible out here. Out of respect to the Hawley family, we should keep Serenity in our thoughts. No child, regardless of whatever reason, should ever have to bury, or no parent should be able to have to bury their child. Okay, so somebody brings up a black woman who was shot dead by a white neighbor. That happened in June. Okay, so, but, you know, the argument to dismantle this is, well, this is way less common than the other way around, which is true. So, like I said, just back off. Black Twitter, Hotep Twitter, black community. Back off on this one. Let them cook. If you want to have the discussion, come on my channel. Let's have it. We're going to be fair. We're going to be real. This one, I actually like this. I actually like this meme. It's animation, a Pixar animation, AI Pixar animation. I like this one, actually. I mean, not for the purpose of this story, but I think it's, I mean, it's pretty funny. I can't lie. Okay, consequence of the promotion of acceptance of interracial relationships by a certain group that never was even an accepted societal policy in the West until some decades ago. When I was a junior in high school, I told these birds never get attached. Taught my sister brothers the same thing. I'm the oldest of 12, 7B, 5G. School was first. 12th, I met, what the fuck? Okay, keep dating people who have been raised to believe anything they do to white people is okay because racism. I'm sure it'll keep turning out great. There would be far less of this if the media would do their bloody jobs. Let me get this straight. His name is Monk and her name is Serenity. You literally can't make this up. Colored folks are getting real uppity these days. All right. Somebody said all you white girls are stupid. When you make a choice to mate with a product of Serenity, there are consequences. I'm this close to bringing up black crime statistics. Wow. So this one, damn, this one's pretty funny too. Not gonna lie. But if that was a mixed baby, it's a little too dark. Okay. So somebody posted this meme of this guy walking his girl. Blame her parents. People are blaming the parents. Oh, well, if you're coal or if you burn coal, the end result, although sad, is almost always the same. So yeah, people are the scorpion, and people posted the frog on the scorpion's back. That's a really good parable that kind of sums up this situation, unfortunately. More and more nice looking white girls, not trash, dating outside of their race. It's like a trend these days, and more times than not, it does not end well. So that I don't necessarily agree with. I wouldn't say more times than not. All right. Let's just let's say this. Here's the reality. Most relationships end. That's a fact. Most relationships, whether interracial or not, do not end in violent altercations. However, of those that end in violent altercations, black men in relationships with anybody, period, have higher rates of domestic violence. These are facts. And I'm willing to acknowledge that. And I'm willing to be the change personally in my own personal life. Now, I can't control you other ninjas. I can't control how others perceive you, nor can I control how I am perceived. I can only control how I behave personally. And that's what I plan to do with my life. But yeah, I mean, it does suck that, you know, we have the freedom, we have the opportunity, we have everything, and things are just getting worse for us. That sucks. That part definitely sucks. As a whole. Now, for me, my life is only getting better, but for other people, right? It's always the people you most expect. So obviously, toll paid thing. They're saying the mythical BBC. Captain Freedom says that black woman who got shot by the white neighbor had been harassing the neighbor. Okay. British Broadcasting Corporation. Alan Lindsay says if I had a mixed baby, that baby would still need sunscreen at the beach 100%. Bo Brown said, right, it happens to black women all the time. Yes, it does. It does happen to black women all the time. So somebody says once you go black, you deserve it. She loved the basketball teams. Okay, let's get out of this one. All right, let's see. So this is Twitter or a TikTok video. Okay, so you got a lot of people posting this. Got a lot of people posting it. Okay, this is Newton Action Alliance. I wish he had been armed. He was evil. Too bad she wasn't armed to even up the odds. Shot by a punk who was illegally in possession of a firearm. But instead of asking why people are killing others and getting to the root cause, let's make another law to make it even illegaler. So a 17-year-old who already broke the law. Okay, so they must have said something about gun violence. Oh, in gun violence. Okay. We would really like to lift Serenity up and not the tragedy that surrounded her escape from this world. At a very young age, Catherine Hawley told me today. Boom, boom, bap. Okay. Monk Crowley shot and killed Serenity Hawley after she broke up with him. Girls make better decisions. I mean, here's the thing. She's 17 years old. I mean, what the fuck do you expect her to do? The guy's on the football team. He's got a lot of friends at the school. He's got a lot of clout. People tend to like him. Seemed like he was pretty popular. And she succumbed to that, and I mean, she did break up with him. She tried to get away. It's just too late, unfortunately. Yeah, check out this NBC headline. Community mourns both as if they died in an accident. Yeah, that is wild. Yeah, but I really feel bad for the family. Really feel bad for the family. Feel bad for the girl. She didn't deserve this. But yeah, I mean, this is just the norm, especially in the community. I mean, I could do a story on Black women getting killed by their partner every single day. Every single day. So this is a real problem. It's not going anywhere. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much got into all of it. We did all of it, honestly. Like I said, condolences to the family. Man, very sad story. Bad news for interracial relationships, interracial dating. But like I said, this story is not really going to get a lot of news coverage. So the only people who really know about this are the people in Blacksburg, Virginia, and the white Twitter trolls. They're pretty much the only people who know about this, her immediate friends and family. And what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing more incidences like this occur. The media is pretty much going to keep it a local story, and that's that. And I don't think this is going to affect the interracial dating scene, but I do think it is a cautionary tale for sure, 100%. So with that being said, you already know what it is, man. We are going to go ahead and send it to Jinquavius to take us away. Man, that was a great stream. It was an awesome stream. Unfortunately, the content, the subject matter was not an awesome thing that happened. But I do think that we got great insight. We understand how white people feel about this, and especially white men in this country or in other countries as well feel about this. They're really upset with Black people. All right. And, their anger is justified in many ways. But, obviously the culture is being engineered by the media. It's just so much going on, and it's hard to combat the talking points, right? It really is, except the only defense is, hey, don't be racist, don't generalize, all right? So it's very difficult to combat these trains of thought, this line of thinking, if we don't change our behavior, which is going to be hard to do as a collective, especially worldwide. But something that we can control is the behavior of Black Americans, which we are failing at every single day. So anyways, we are going to go ahead and send it off to Jinquavius to take us away. Woo, this was a rough one. It was a very difficult conversation, especially for me, a guy who is in a relationship. Well, it wasn't tough for me, honestly, but it works against me to do this stream. But I do these streams. Why? Because, I care about these situations, and I want people to be aware of these situations so it doesn't happen again, so it doesn't occur again. So anyways, with that being said, you already know what it is. I'm going to go ahead and send it to Jinquavius to take us away. But it's your boy, the Black Gen Z Mindset, aka BGZM News 17, aka Jinquavius Jackson. And y'all be safe. Make sure you comment immediately after the stream. Hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal on your way out. Show some love, show some support. Guys, go cop the merch. If you don't want to send a $20 Cash App and you feel like you're not getting anything in return, go cop the merch. I'm telling you, I got merch. And it's really good, really high quality. We got the Trumpets of Blood t-shirts. I mean, come on, guys. I want to see thousands of people sending me pictures of them in the merch. Like, that's what I want to see. So With that being said, you already know what it is. Be safe. Have a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, and peace.
Yo, what's up, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more
store.
do you want from me?
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jinquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.